Welcome, everybody, to episode 4 of the Great Night Podcast. Tonight, I have Aiden with me. How are you feeling, Aiden?
I'm doing all right, Rob. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to have you here. I'm glad you can make it. The weather sucks, so I'm glad you can make it despite the snow out here on the East Coast. It's kind of crappy.
Yeah, some of this northeast weather. First day of spring, 12 inches of snow. It's good stuff.
Yeah. But tonight's topics, we have school walkout protests. I want to point out a couple things from that. PUBG got a mobile port, which apparently a lot of people are playing, and I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it, so we're going to talk about that. Toys R Us gets shut down or, goes out of business, whatever you want to call it. Facebook has some of their data leaked. I'm going to be quizzing Aiden on real versus fake beers. I'm going to be reading off some beers, and we're going to see if he can guess which ones are real and which ones are fake. And then maybe at the end, we'll talk about some ghost stories if Aiden has any. I don't even know if you do have any. I forgot to ask you.
Yeah, I do have a few.
All right, so that'll be fun. Make sure you stay tuned to the end for that. But yeah, so we got our fireball. Let's start this off with a cheers, and here's to a great night.
To you, Rob. Never get used to that.
I'll grab that for you.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Anyway, the school walkout protest we want to talk about first. Start this thing off very, very political, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know if this is considered politics at this point. But a lot of people are actually getting upset about these school walkouts. They think that students are it's a waste of time. It's something they shouldn't be doing. But I don't know. I think it's a form of peaceful protesting. It's gotten a lot of attention with that's the whole point of a peaceful protest is to draw attention to it, and that's what it's doing. How Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the flag, despite what you think of that, or during the national anthem. Sorry, despite what you think of that, it did bring a lot of attention, to social media, the news, and just people in general. And I think that's what the school walkout is really doing, because I think it's protesting gun violence. And it's got people talking about it, so it has me talking about it right now on the podcast, so it's working. What are your thoughts on the subject?
Like you said, in reference to all the other peaceful protests that are happening lately in the United States, you see Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem, but I think this is a good thing, honestly, because it brings light to a point of view that you don't necessarily see if you're not in school. And the fact is that, these are happening more and more every day, it seems like.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately. And
there was just one in Maryland just recently.
Yeah.
And it barely made the news because I think, it's sad to say, I don't mean to say this in an insulting way, but only one person was killed, I think, or a couple people. And the sad part is anywhere else that would be headline news. Somebody gets shot in a school, but here in the U.S. it's only one person doesn't even make headlines.
Yeah, I don't know. They were lucky to have a school resource officer on the scene. That was the guy who was able to
apprehend
and basically stop the situation from escalating, which I think is definitely important because, where we went to high school, Chichester High School, we had a school resource officer in Officer Allen. Always was around, was a great guy if you ever had a conversation with him, and he just made you feel safe.
So shout out to all the school resource officers out there. But as far as the protests are concerned, I don't have a problem with them. I think that you're not missing a great deal. If anything, you're missing a class, 2 classes. I honestly don't know how long most of the protests lasted for. But I personally don't have a problem with them, or peaceful protests in general. I mean, the whole point of peaceful protests is to be peaceful. As long as you're not hurting anybody, you're just expressing your beliefs.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I know a few schools in the area, Pencrest, Garnet Valley, just to name 2 of them, had their own school walkouts where they let their voices be heard. And, really it doesn't cause any harm. I see a lot of people on social media bashing the fact that these kids want to have a voice. And, these are 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, even younger than that.
Yeah.
That just want to have their voice be heard, want to feel safe. And these are the kids that are going to be voting in the next election.
Exactly.
They need to be informed. They need to have their voice be heard because, you know, a lot of times I hear from specifically older adults that even my opinion as a 23-year-old isn't validated because I'm still a kid.
Yeah. And I saw somebody tweet on Twitter recently, like one of those parody accounts or whatever, saying, "Oh, teenagers will protest gun violence, but then they'll go home and play PUBG and kill each other, or they'll go home and play Fortnite and kill each other," which is stupid because that's fantasy versus reality. Like, I like playing Grand Theft Auto, but I am highly against, shooting a cop in the face, stealing his car, running over a bunch of pedestrians, stealing an airplane, crashing it in the ocean, like all that. You can separate a sane individual can separate fantasy from reality, and most of these people, if not all these people who are protesting gun violence, are sane individuals.
You're right about that.
Like, you can have your cake and eat it too. Just because I play Call of Duty doesn't mean I want to go to war.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, specifically, to name Donald Trump, he tweeted like a week or two ago about how he wanted to meet with the heads of the video game corporations.
The heads of the video game corporation.
Yeah.
Like, there's one video game corporation. He's gonna sit them all down and be like, "Hey guys, listen, we gotta deal with this."
That should tell you everything you need to know about old people just pushing all these everyday all these everyday occurrences of violence, specifically on video games.
Yeah.
It's absurd, to be frank.
Yeah. I want to point out something. This reporter actually, I think, was covering the school walkouts, and I saw something interesting. So, Louise Beckett, she said, covering a walkout this morning at an elementary school in Virginia. This is on Twitter, by the way. And the 11-year-old organizers had a press packet ready for me. So imagine being 11 years old and preparing a press packet for a reporter about school walkouts protesting gun violence. Like, when I was 11, the only thing I had to worry about was, what PS2 game am I going to play when I get home? It's a shame that kids these days have to worry about, I feel old, I'm saying kids these days. It's a shame that kids these days have to worry about things like this, like gun violence and stuff that they shouldn't be worrying about.
I was more worried about, what was my mom going to make for dinner, or, what if I had soccer practice that night. Shout out to my mom for always making the best kind of dinner. But
yeah, it was it's a shame that things like this are happening. I hope it gets better. I really do. But let's transition into a lighter topic here. I want to talk about PUBG getting a mobile port. So, for those of you who are for those of you who don't know about PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battleground,
that would be me.
Yeah, it's like a battle royale game where 100 people drop onto a map, and only one person can make it out alive. And I've played it. I think it's a lot of fun. I have yet to play the mobile port, but it just recently got ported over to mobile phones, which has stirred a lot of controversy because the game can barely run on PC, and now they're putting it on mobile phones. It can barely run on Xbox, and they're putting it on mobile phones. They're just like jumping on the hype train. And just recently, the company got caught for putting bots in the game. But the motive behind it, I can understand. They're putting bots in the early game so you can get used to the mobile controls and get used to like how to shoot your gun, how to navigate. So I think that's a good idea, but I think they were trying to hide it also, which is a little bit unfair.
Yeah, obviously when you port any major game to a different device, especially mobile, it's going to be big, especially with a game such as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I heard Fortnite also got a release, I believe, on mobile. I could be wrong about that, but, it's going to take a lot of people a little bit getting used to the mobile games. I mean, I have Sonic 2 on my mobile phone.
Yeah.
And it took me probably a year to get used to that, and I'm still not even used to it.
I feel like with most mobile games, if you're really going to get into it, I think you would need a controller to plug into your phone, something like that.
Yeah, that would be ideal, but realistically making it happen is, how many people are going to go out and buy.
Yeah, at that point, you might as well just buy a handheld console.
Exactly.
Yeah, like the Switch or Vita or whatever.
Yeah, something that's, made for portability.
Yeah.
I have a Vita. Rob has a Switch over there.
I've got a Vita, too.
Oh, you do have a Vita. That is right. Yeah, I think that's one of my old ones.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's a great game and everything, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it needs to be ported over to mobile. I think everybody, it's got, I looked on the Play Store, it has over 5 million downloads, so obviously people are playing it, but it definitely doesn't need to be ported over. I don't know, it's just that's my opinion. It's opinion time,
So some games are better off just staying on the console that they were originated on.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Which actually brings me to my next question. If you could pick any game that isn't on mobile that could get ported over to mobile, what would it be?
That's pretty tough. See, I've played a lot of sports games on like mobile phones, and it just doesn't translate well.
Yeah.
But ideally, I would like, I don't know, an older game from like my childhood, maybe Metal Gear Solid, something that like I've just had a lot of time playing.
I guarantee you that you could probably find like a PS1 emulator or something on the Play Store and definitely be able to play those. That depends on whether or not you have an Android phone or not, because I don't think Apple. The one good thing about Android phones, I think in general they suck, and this is from somebody who owns an Android phone, but they have a more like loose marketplace. You can like download apps that, PS1 emulators. But with that also comes risk, because a lot of them have viruses and all that jazz. Apple is, very more, or, much more tight on what you can download and what you can't download, what they'll even let on the App Store. But if you ever pick up an Android phone, definitely check that out.
I might have to steal my mother's old one. She actually just got a new phone the other day. So
you're gonna have another burner phone?
Yeah, this will be my third.
Nice.
My third phone total. I've my old iPhone specifically for music, but if I might be able to steal my mom's phone if she doesn't catch me doing it first. Shout out to my mother again. I told her to listen to this podcast. So if you hear this, Mom, it's nothing personal.
Just steal her phone. This is evidence of you taking it.
Steal her phone. Steal all the snacks that she buys. I ate like 2 donuts last night.
Oh, all right. So you would pick a Metal Gear game. I think, you know what, this might be a little bit unfair and biased because I just started playing the game like 2 days ago, but Sea of Thieves.
I've heard that's really good. I saw your tweet about it last night.
Yeah, I would love to see that game come to mobile. It's basically, for those of you who aren't familiar with that title, it's a pirate game, basically. It's a pirate simulator. You're a pirate, you steal other people's treasures, you get in other pirate fights. It takes a whole crew to run your ship. Like, you have to manage the sails, the anchor, the cannons. It's a fantastic game. It's
sounds like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's oh yeah. Well, imagine like Assassin's Creed, but like more in depth, like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but more of like first of all first person, and it's every man has an individual part on each ship. Like,
that sounds ideal.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Actually, do you have an Xbox? I forget.
I do not. I have a PlayStation 4.
You have a PC though, right?
I do have a PC.
We can play it at some point.
I do need to get a new video card. I sold my old video card to Carrick for
okay,
like $100.
Yeah, you need to get on that. We'll have to check that out together. But yeah, I would definitely pick Sea of Thieves. Shout out to Rare for making such a great game.
Rare always. If we even throwing it back to Donkey Kong, they just know how to pump out quality stuff.
Yeah, I think they also made Banjo-Kazooie too, didn't they?
Yeah, I have Banjo-Kazooie at home on Nintendo 64, and I always just plug that in every few months just to kind of get a good bit of nostalgia, because I played that a lot when I was growing up.
Nice. So next up, I want to talk about Toys R Us getting shut down, which is it's sad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Big part of my childhood.
Yeah, I could see it getting, going out of business, but at the same time, I never thought it would be this soon. Like, I think that for Toys R Us to go out of business, I don't know. Like, whenever I think of a toy store, it's always Toys R Us. Like, if I'm gonna go Christmas shopping, and I know it's like for my nephew, and he really wants this toy, and I don't feel like online shopping, I'll go to Toys R Us. But I do feel like the big killer of Toys R Us is online shopping, because you could go to Toys R Us and you could check to see if they have the Paw Patrol whatever boat you need, Or you could just go on Amazon and, you're almost guaranteed to have it.
Yeah, especially with Amazon Prime, they basically reinvented online shopping.
Yeah.
I can buy something off Amazon Prime and have it in, 2 days?
Yeah.
At a arguably cheaper price than not KB Toys, which actually...
I think they're coming back.
Yeah, I'll bring that up shortly after we get through this, but Toys R Us, one thing about Toys R Us is they definitely were a bit stingy on their prices, to add to the fact that they sold nothing but a entire store full of toys.
Yeah.
You can only get through so much inventory, and at the end of the day, I think that probably attributed to their downfall to a point.
Yeah, I mean they definitely tried to expand. They were selling video games and game consoles, which you could, I mean, those are becoming more of the toys that kids are playing with recently. Like, my nephew wants to play video games. He's only like 5 years old. When I was 5, video games were definitely a part of my childhood, or whatever you want to call that age. But I was also playing with, my other toys. I had a bunch of like WWE action figures that I would play with all the time. Yeah, those
Triple H.
Yeah, those were always fun. I remember going to Toys R Us all the time and wanting to buy those, or wanting to have my mother buy those. But that was really sad when I saw that happen. It like took a piece out of me, like a piece of my childhood. And it's gonna be sad to see them go away. I actually, this holiday season, I did like one of those secret shopper things, and I went to Toys R Us and paid off somebody's layaway like right before Christmas.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
very generous.
And it sucks that now it's going out of business.
Yeah,
but I hope that person picked up their layaway. If you're listening out there, they didn't give me your name, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember every time I would go to the doctors and meet, like right outside of Median near the Granite Run Mall, Middletown Township. My mom always told me, shout out to my mom, I keep bringing her up.
Shout out to Aiden's mom. Wink.
Wink. If I was always a good boy at the doctors, didn't happen as much as I got when I would get older, but...
Well, I would hope not. I hope your mom wouldn't, like right now, call you a good boy and bring you to Toys R Us.
She would always let me stop at Toys R Us if I was a good boy at the doctor and I was healthy.
Yeah.
She would let me pick out any toy within obvious reason.
Yeah.
And it was just like, always remembered getting a checkup, going to Toys R Us, and, going home with a toy that I played with for probably a week, put it in my toy box or something, forgot about it for months, pick it up months later, and just enjoy it again. It was just I can remember it fondly.
Yeah. It's going to be sad to see Toys R Us go. Now, you said something about KB Toys bringing back employees from Toys R Us. Could you bring that in?
Yeah, I actually read an article about how KB Toys had some kind of analytics company, like, analyze basically what their downfall was, what went wrong with KB Toys. And they're, from what I've seen, trying to bring KB Toys back. And KB Toys said that, I guess if they get everything up and running again, they can bring a lot of the employees from Toys R Us into their new company, and I think that's really cool because as much as we all love KB Toys, or not KB Toys, Toys R Us. I keep getting the two confused.
It's okay. You've had some alcohol. It's all right to get.
Yes, one shot of alcohol completely throws my judgment
it's
out.
Okay.
My judgment and analyzing skills out the window.
I kind of want to give you more and see, just like ride this podcast out.
Probably wouldn't be a good idea for our listeners. I have a crazy head, and I don't want to scare people from listening to this, but
it's okay.
These are still people with these are all people with jobs that probably aren't loving the idea of getting laid off, but at the same time, it's cool that KB Toys is like, hey, come on over to us. We'll give you that basically lift back into
what job you had previously. Yeah.
So I think that's really cool on KB Toys end.
That'd be like if GameStop went out of business and then EB Games came back and was like, "Hey,
that's essentially it."
Yeah, you guys want to come over and sell some more video games?
I remember back in the Granite Run Mall when they had an EB.
They had an EB Games and a GameStop. That was great.
Yeah, that's when the Granite Run Mall was
popping. Yeah, it wasn't. It existed. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, really.
If you could have, before I ask you, there's two questions I want to ask. What company do you think is going to go out of business next or in the near future, and then what company would you like to see come back into business? So I'll ask you. You know what? We'll do the negative first, and we'll bring the positive in. What company do you think is going out of business next, or you could see going out of business, like retailer or company in general?
That's a tough.
I can tell you mine if it helps.
Yeah, hit me with it.
I think GameStop is going to be shortly following Toys R Us.
I'd give it a little bit more time. Like I'd give it. Maybe...
I'd say within the next. I'm not going to say soon, but I would guess within the next 10 years, GameStop won't be around anymore because they're turning into a toy store, which I think is a bad idea.
I've noticed that the last time I went into GameStop, it like kind of blew my mind to a point how many like toys, clothes, accessories that just weren't there before. I remember, 5 years ago I'd walk into GameStop, even like right before the new next gen consoles came out.
Yeah,
you could walk in and there would be an entire wall just filled with games, and it was like cool. Now you walk in, you see that wall replaced with just toys
and t-shirts and novelty items,
which is basically what I think they're trying to do for their I'm not exactly a marketing expert, but I'm sure they're probably not doing as good as they were 5 years ago. Well,
you should look at their stock. I've been looking at it's been dropping for like first, like, I don't know, I've been looking at it for like the past 3 months, past year. I haven't seen it going up in a while.
Yeah, I think that just is attributed to how popular
digital games are and stuff. Yeah,
you can get a PC, go on Steam. I bought Alan Wake before you couldn't buy Alan Wake anymore. I bought it for I think $3.99. It came with American Nightmare, and it was just like you could never get that deal at GameStop.
Yeah, there's tons. There's like Steam is just such a great marketplace for cheap games. Oh my god, that was like I spent so much money when I first built my PC on games I'll probably never play and still have not played. But
I have an entire list.
Yeah. I will say this: when GameStop goes out of business, and notice I said when. I do think that it is eventual. I think a lot of companies are going to eventually go out of business. It's very rare for these companies to be able to keep up with technology, for GameStop to be able to keep up with digital sales. But I think if GameStop goes out of business, I will miss it. Like, because there's something about walking into a video game store and picking out a video game to try with your buddies for the first time. It's something I'll miss, just like how I'm going to miss Toys R Us when that eventually goes out of business, I think, which is soon, right?
Yeah, they're starting their liquidation sale. If it hasn't started already, I think I saw something about it starting tomorrow.
I might have to go to Toys R Us and see if I can clean shop.
I'm off tomorrow. I plan on going.
Yeah. Nice.
But what you were saying about, being able to go into a GameStop, find a cool game. Shout out to Tyler Callahan, who was on the podcast a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
I remember getting a game for the Xbox 360 called Sneak King.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I picked it up and Tyler went, hey, come stay over my house tonight. And we played that game for 3 or 4 hours straight.
Nice. Yeah, I'll miss those gaming binges.
Which I think probably is a good segue into which company do I think I could bring back. I would bring back Blockbuster.
That was what I was going to say, so I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, definitely Blockbuster. Like, Netflix is cool and everything, but there's just something about going to Blockbuster, renting a game, picking it out on the shelf, picking out a movie on the shelf. You go there, they have all the snacks, like movie snacks. It was just like, maybe it's just me being nostalgic and being biased because of that, but I would totally shop at Blockbuster if I could.
They're actually, I looked this up the other day, when you sent me a text about the topics for tonight.
Yeah.
There are, I believe, 2 or 3 Blockbusters still left. They're individually operated by sole ownership. They're only in Alaska.
Yeah, because I hear, actually a buddy I work with was talking about that. Apparently, because a Blockbuster as a company did go out of business officially.
Yes.
But in Alaska, since the internet is like so expensive up there, that it's very hard for people to be able to stream Netflix and stuff like that. So, obviously, Blockbuster would be popular up there. Whereas, here on the East Coast, at least where we are, Netflix is super easy to access. Internet's relatively cheap. So, it's not as needed.
Yeah, we're in one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the world.
Yeah.
We're smack dab in between New York and DC, right outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We could.
My address is right.
Yeah. Yeah. Come to Rob's house.
Come to my house. Send me bombs in the mail.
Yes, that's. Not to get too off topic, but I did see something about how there was a bomber just going around targeting Black and Muslim families in Texas.
Oh, well, that's a great segue into whatever else we're going to talk about.
Yeah, no, not to get off topic,
it's okay.
But that's something I saw today.
All right. What is I was gonna say more about. I was just gonna suck Blockbuster's dick. That's all I want to do in this podcast.
Blockbuster. I remember. Shout out to my mother yet again.
Shout out to Aiden's mom.
Yet again.
Do a shot every time Aiden shouts out his mom from this time.
Yeah, that's like 7 times now. You're probably a little drunk, but my mom would always. We had a Blockbuster up the street from our house. It's actually formerly where GameStop. Or formerly was where GameStop is now.
Yeah.
Up at Larkin's Corner Shopping Center in Boothwyn, Pennsylvania.
Shout out to Aiden's mom for driving there.
Oh, yes. Right down the street. It was a Blockbuster, then it was a Hollywood Video, if you want to go throwback even more.
Oh, yeah. And then now it's a Verizon store, right?
Yeah, it's a Verizon / GameStop. It's like
Hollywood Video. I never shopped at Hollywood Video. That goes to show how... I'm like, what, 20, 23?
Yeah.
And I don't ever remember shopping at Hollywood Video. Wasn't it like Blockbuster?
Basically the same thing.
Yeah.
But Blockbuster just, I think, was better. My mom would always let me rent games, and then I would hold them past the due date when they were allowed, when you had to have them back.
I remember Blockbuster before they made it mandatory to have a credit card on file so they could charge you for the game if you didn't bring it in. It used to be like, sign out this game. It was like the honor system, like bring it back or maybe don't. Like,
yeah, I think I have a Spyro 2 at home somewhere.
I was in a Blockbuster case.
Yes, I specifically have the case. I think in my basement.
I was shopping at a discount store called Ollie's. I don't know if you've ever been to Ollie's. I've
heard of it.
It's in. I don't know if there's one around where we live, but there's one in Reading where my fiance goes to school, and I love shopping there because they have the most like random stuff. And there's this big bin of movies. And, like, I'm digging through it, and I saw one in a Blockbuster sleeve. So, like, this guy or, like, whatever, like, the store probably bought all of these, like, from, like, I don't know where. Some warehouse that had all these, like, old Blockbuster movies. And I saw one in the sleeve. It was, like, it was like finding a fossil. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, you know? It was just a good experience. My mom would always just... We'd go up to not GameStop. Blockbuster, yes. And she would let me rent a game. That's how I probably found out about a lot of the games that I ended up just loving.
Yeah,
like
and now we have Redbox, so it's like, that's like basically a Blockbuster vending machine. So
yeah, it doesn't hit where Blockbuster hit. So former CEOs of Blockbuster, if you're
please
listening,
bring it back.
Yeah, I will. I'll donate any amount of money.
Yeah, I'll invest in you. Yeah, it's like what goes around comes around, or we're like whatever. Like vinyls are coming back. They've been back for a while.
Yeah, you get the hipsters that love the vinyls.
I want to see VHS tapes come back. Let me rewind my movie. Yeah. That's what I want to see. But yeah, so you already said what I thought was gonna what I wanted to come back into business. Is there any companies besides GameStop that you think might be going out of business in the near future? Or
not that I can think up off the top of my head.
Okay.
There's a few that come to mind that are probably a little unstable.
Yeah. But
other than that, like, GameStop's been declining. I don't know, supermarkets are always thriving. Yeah. Walmart's the biggest company almost one of the biggest companies in the world. Yeah. Target not far behind them. I'm just trying to think of companies
That's all right.
near us.
If you think of any that you think might shut down later on, let me know. I'm curious.
Of course.
But let's go into our next topic. Facebook data leak that just recently happened. Basically, I want to bring up this portion of an article because there's a ton of articles about it, but I saw this one summed it up pretty well. It was this data leak happened from a data consultancy agency, Cambridge Analytica. The UK-based company reportedly acquired data about millions of Facebook users in a way that violated the social network's policies. It then tapped that information to build psychographic profiles of users and their friends, which were utilized for targeted political ads in the UK's Brexit referendum campaign, as well as Trump's team during the 2016 U.S. election. It also did a lot more than that. I was reading up. It basically, like, if you, looked at this, a lot of people's friends lists were leaked. A lot of people's personal information and data were all leaked, and this definitely affected Facebook, because I was looking at the stock recently, and it dropped by about like 12%. It's probably more now. But a lot of people weren't happy with that. A lot of people, they're very protective of their personal information. A lot of people don't even, want their last names public. I know a lot of people on Facebook who don't have their last names viewable. They have like a fake one or whatever, and that's, when you take your personal information that seriously, you can't have these slip-ups happen.
No, I think Zuckerberg's sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably realizing he's probably not involved in the day-to-day aspects of Facebook as much as people think.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to his name is the one being thrown in the dirt to a point. I think Facebook really screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah.
Both companies, from what it seems like, are admitting that they did nothing wrong, which I think is a total BS.
Somebody's got to own up to it, right?
Somebody's got to own up to it because, personally, I have my Facebook profile on private. I don't like people going through my stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to a point, you gotta, if you make a Facebook or any kind of social media account, you gotta take into account that your information is out there.
Yeah.
It's out there. People are going to be able to see it.
There's always potential of something being hacked or leaked or whatever.
Hacked, leaked. I mean, anything you put on the internet, even if you delete it 1 second after you put it,
it's still there.
It's still there. Like the code's still there.
Sure.
You can't hide anything you put on the internet.
Like when back forever ago, Sony had their PlayStation Store leaked their information,
that.
and like, do you remember like the PSN servers were down forever? So it was like months. It took. People weren't allowed to play online games on PlayStation Network. It was that big of a hack. And they finally fixed it. I hope it never happens again. I have all my shit saved on my PS4, so.
Yeah, really. I saw a lot. I'm bringing it back to what you said about PlayStation. I'm sure they lost quite a bit of customers when that happened. I can count at least like 9, 10, maybe 15 people that deactivated their Facebook. They were like, all right, enough is enough. I'm not too active of a Facebook user. Sure, I'll check it every day. I post every week 2 maybe. I don't know. I'm not as active. Yeah. But like, if they're really just going to be selling our information off to the highest bidder, and
I'm not about it.
Throwing our privacy.
Well, it's bad enough that we already get like targeted ads. Like, have you seen those videos where like people will like talk about an ad on like, next to their phone? They'll talk about something like, I haven't had this happen to me personally, but they'll talk about cat food, and then they'll be scrolling through their Facebook, and like cat food will be like on their page. Like some people, this isn't confirmed, I don't think, but some people theorize that your phone like taps into your microphone and analyzes what you say and puts it into Facebook to bring out ads. Now that isn't proven, but I can promise you this: it definitely takes like the data in your phone. Like if you Google stuff, like man, I like, or like if you like are super into Rick and Morty or like super into like PUBG, I get all these ads of like Rick and Morty t-shirts, PUBG t-shirts, like all this, like the stuff I need. Like I think when I started this podcast, I was researching podcasts, and then I saw ads like promote your podcast here and stuff like that, and I was like, what the hell? How do you know I have a podcast?
Yeah, that's a little creepy. I play soccer. I've actually been looking for a new pair of cleats recently. Yeah. And I was looking for them on Amazon.
And then Facebook was like,
scrolled on Facebook and Instagram. Mainly because I think Facebook owns Instagram. Yeah. So they probably have a lot of the same kind of like policies.
Yeah, it's fine.
Shake the table there. Rock the boat. But, hey, give me another shot. I see the cleats that I was looking at maybe even like a day, not even a day, maybe like a few hours ago, just there, and it's like that's a bit creepy. I don't necessarily like that. They're taking all of my search history. Yeah, because I mean, there's probably stuff that I have looked up that I don't want people to see. Ha ha ha. No, I'm just kidding.
You're gonna see ads for it now. It's
yeah.
like, local girls in your area.
Yeah, no,
I haven't seen Facebook go that low, so thankfully they have boundaries apparently. But my one buddy, speaking of Android phones, which we mentioned earlier, he downloaded a phone on the App Store. Or not phone, sorry. He downloaded. I've had something to drink too. He downloaded some game on the App Store, and then he opened up his camera roll, and he had ads in his camera roll, and he was like, "Okay, I'm never doing that again. Like, I'm done with Android." So
yeah, you won't ever see Apple do that. Apple, as much as I don't personally like Apple.
Shout out to, by the way, this podcast is sponsored by Apple. If you want Apple and we're talking and Blockbuster, bring back Blockbuster. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, dissolve Apple instantly. No, I like iPhones just because they're user friendly. They're just easy to use, and if you have iTunes, they suck you in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've bought probably hundreds of music merchandise on Apple's iTunes store, so I'm basically just subject to Apple for the rest of my life at this point. But their iPhones are user friendly, but like they're just basically they're just marketing the fact that hey, own Apple to look cool.
Yeah,
and
it's an easy interface.
It's
easy to work with.
And but if you ever meet anybody in the PC world that likes,
they hate Apple. It's like going to war with them.
Yeah, it's because all their stuff is so strict and tight.
Yeah.
So I
mean, both have their perks. I think Apple and PC both you can go back and forth on that, but
yeah, Apple, Android, PC, whichever way you want to go.
Everyone has its benefit. But.
Without a doubt, but like Apple, I will respect that they do keep their security top notch. Yeah. For a reason.
But yeah, data leaks, all that fun stuff. I want to transition into some beer because Aiden's a little bit tipsy. Aiden's very tipsy. I'm a little bit tipsy.
I'm perfectly all right. I had a taco.
Okay, that makes it okay.
Yeah, first thing I've eaten in about 12 hours. We're good.
All right. Aiden had a taco and a shot of alcohol. When was the last time you had a shot of anything before this podcast?
Shot? None. I had like 2 or 3 beers last night.
Gotcha. All right. Well, speaking of beers, I'm going to quiz Aiden on some beers. I found a list of some very strange beers, some very strange named beers, and I also made up some weird ones on my own that don't exist. And I'm gonna read them off. Feel free to play along at home. This is real versus fake beer edition. I'm gonna read off some beers. You guys guess if they're real or if they're fake. Okay.
Luckily for Rob, I work in a bar, so.
Oh, well, these are from all around the world, dog.
Oh, well,
so
let's see. Lay it on me.
Okay, so. Arrogant Bastard Ale. Is that real or fake?
I'm going to say that's real.
That's real.
I've definitely seen that one before.
Okay. Big Dirty Butt Ale. Is that real or is it fake?
That's got to be fake.
That's fake.
that just sounds fake to me.
Okay. Octopus Bronchitis Ale. Is that real or fake?
It sounds fake, but I'm going to go fake.
You're going to go fake?
Yeah.
It's fake. All right. The Great King Kentucky Sausage Fest. Is that real or fake?
I'm gonna say that's. I'm gonna say that's real.
That's real. It's real.
Cool.
Did I say the last one was fake? Did I announce that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Octopus Bronchitis Ale. That's fake. Great King Kentucky Sausage Fest. You said real. It is real.
I'm 4 for 4.
Yeah, you're killing it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that real or fake?
That's gotta be fake.
You're killing it. It's fake. I thought I was coming up with some. There's some freaky ones out here. All right. Herpes. Real or fake?
Fake.
That's real.
Is it really?
Yeah, you lost one. Herpes is the beer.
I don't know whose idea it was to name their beer after a sexually transmitted disease.
It actually says in the bottle, "You're going home with herpes." I think it's sold in Amsterdam. I looked at the bottle.
Okay, Amsterdam's known for their beers. Everybody just wants herpes in Amsterdam, I guess.
Juicy J's Liquid Fight Juice. Is that real or fake?
See, I wouldn't put it past. I'm gonna say that's fake. That just sounds so fake.
Juicy J's Liquid Fight Juice. You think it's fake?
Yeah.
It's fake. You're right. So far, you only got one wrong. You're killing it. Hoppy Ending Pale Ale. Is that real or fake?
Happy ending. I'll say that's real. That definitely sounds like.
It's real.
It's a good play on words.
It's real. It's real. It's killing it. You're killing it. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Why are you still hitting yourself?
I'm gonna say that's fake.
Yeah, it's fake.
That
That sounds like a beer, though, right?
Yeah,
That could be a beer. I'd
sounds
buy
like
that.
a beer after you've had too many.
I actually made up a beer. I said that's what she said, and I was like, wait a minute, that's gotta be something. I looked it up and it existed. That's why like there's so much shit out there. Like I was doing conspiracy theories and I was looking like doing fake conspiracy theories and half of them existed. So, but anyway, on to the next one. Nipple Mountain, real or fake?
Fake. Come on.
That's real.
Oh really?
Nipple Mountain is a beer. I think it's sold in Colorado.
That makes sense. Then.
Yeah, Nipple Mountain is real.
Uh,
Peanut butter elbow grease stout. Is that real or fake?
that sounds disgusting, but I'm gonna say that's fake.
It is fake.
Yeah,
You got that right.
That sounds gross.
Intercourse. Is that real or fake?
I'll say that's real because there's an Intercourse, Pennsylvania, out in Lancaster County.
That is actually where it is.
That's
you
cool.
Can buy Intercourse beer. So that is correct. Optimus Prime. Is that real or fake?
I really hope that that's real because if it is real, I want to buy it.
You're going to say real?
Yes.
It's real.
I would buy the hell out of that.
Bishop's Finger. Is that real or fake?
It sounds fake.
You going to say fake?
Fake.
It's real.
Really?
Bishop's Finger. Real beer. Isn't that great?
I'd love to find out where that's sold.
Elbow Drop Ale. Is that real or fake?
I really hope it were to be real, but I'm gonna say fake.
It is fake. You got that right.
That sounds like something based off of like the People's Elbow from WWE.
All right. You're in a coma. Wake up. Ale. Is that real or fake?
I'm gonna say fake.
It is fake. You're right. I made that up.
These all just sound like beers that I would still try.
Yeah, I would try that beer.
Hopefully, it would put me in a coma.
Butt Face Ale. Is that real or fake?
I'm gonna say real.
It is real. You cheater.
I'm not a cheater.
Butt Face Ale? Come on, that sounded fake. Tunnel of Death Stout. Is that real or fake?
Tunnel of Death.
Tunnel of Death Stout.
I'm gonna say real.
You're gonna say real?
Yes.
It's fake. You got that one.
Oh.
Okay. Fucking Hell. Is that real or is that fake?
Ooh. I'm gonna say real.
You're gonna say real?
I'm gonna say real.
It's real. Alright, so let's count up how many you got wrong and how many you got right. Okay, so Aiden, here's how many he got wrong. He got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wrong. That's not bad at all. Versus how many right? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 right.
14
That's crazy.
right, 5 wrong.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
You did better than I thought you would. Don't take that personally.
Oh, I will take it personally.
I thought those some of my fake ones were creative, but apparently
some of them were. I feel like when you hear it, it's like it's so outrageous that it just sounds real.
Yeah,
and that's where I got thrown off by a few of them.
Yeah, I definitely some of those beers I want to try.
I would definitely.
But on to our final topic. We're about 40 minutes in here. I want to talk about ghost stories now. Before you get into any ghost stories besides this one, on episode 1 of the podcast, we were talking about sleep paralysis.
I heard about that.
And Tyler brought up a sleep paralysis story you had. He described it pretty well, but I was wondering if you could give us your personal perspective from it. So, basically from what Tyler said, your sleep paralysis story was you heard a voice saying, "Remember these numbers, you're going to die."
Yeah.
But can you start me from the beginning to the end? I want to hear it.
Had to be like through 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I just remember waking up,
Uh-huh.
and I was just still. I kind of figured, it was just me. I didn't feel like moving.
Uh-huh.
But I just kind of laid there for what felt like an hour, and then I felt like I had to go to the bathroom, so I like wanted to move, but I couldn't.
Uh-huh.
And I was just kind of like stuck there, and I was like, all right, this has to be a nightmare or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just stuck there. I can't move. And saw something like on the wall, like just something moving on a wall. I have a picture, like kind of like diagonal to my bed, and I'm just staring at the picture because that's where like the shape was moving from.
Was it like a shadow?
It was like a shadow. I honestly can't even explain what it was.
Okay.
It's one of the most terrifying experiences I've probably ever had.
Uh-huh.
But it said remember the numbers 824688 or you will die.
824-688. You remember the numbers
I
specifically?
remember the numbers because I'm not too superstitious, but by the off chance that that's right.
Have you looked those numbers up?
I looked them up the second I woke up, and Google was basically like, "What do you say? What are you looking up?"
Do you think it's coordinates?
I don't know. With all these stupid conspiracy theories, it's like it was just like a deep demonic voice, and I remember waking up like shortly after that. I was like breathing really hard. First thing I looked up was those numbers. It was like what?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
My goodness. That's insane.
I remember like I think my dog was in bed with me, and like I was like feeling I was honestly just scared to death.
Yeah. I've had a couple of sleep paralysis instances myself, and I know exactly how you're feeling. I very rarely have I experienced a voice with mine. It's mostly like a presence. But the one time I did experience a voice, like it sounded like I was talking like right next to me. I was laying on the side of my bed, and it whispered in my ear, "Listen to me," but it didn't say anything after that.
Yeah, no, this was just a deep demonic voice where, like I said, the shadow presence, whatever you want to say, I saw was just like on the other side of the room, but like it literally felt like somebody was just like in my head.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it was
scary.
Yeah, I don't even know how to like explain.
Do you have any other ghost stories, like whether they be sleep paralysis related, not sleep paralysis related, anything paranormal, just weird you can't explain?
I definitely feel like I had a sleep paralysis moment after that. It might have just been me having a nightmare.
Yeah. Of
the situation, but wasn't too crazy. Like I said, it might have just been a nightmare, me thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
I could have easily just been lying in bed looking at like my ceiling and thought that I was paralyzed again. But
yeah. What about like ghost stories?
Ghost stories, I don't have too many. There have been a few times where I've been at work and we have this we have a house where the office is, where they count the money and where we keep a lot of our dry stock.
Yeah, Darius actually in the last episode was talking about how your boss says that's haunted.
Yeah, he says it's haunted, but no, I don't think so.
Really?
I've definitely heard a lot of like sounds when I'm over there. It might just be the wind, might be, just squirrels maybe climbing on the roof.
Did you experience anything there?
The lights flickered.
Yeah.
Like in a weird pattern one time. I think it was just the owner who was probably drunk off his ass just trying to play a trick on me.
Gotcha.
But I remember I came into the house one time when there was a server getting our dry stock, and I have my keys here, and I was doing this.
Yeah.
With the
flicking your keys.
Flicking my the key loop thing, and she started freaking out.
Really?
And
so you pranked her?
I pranked her, and then she was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know what that was." And she was like, "No, stop kidding around. Who is that? What was it?" And I was like, "Oh, just it's always watching." And she said, "What's it?" And I went, "You'll know it when you see it." And then I just walked out. But
you probably scared her.
Yeah, me and Tyler had a theory one time.
What?
We were really bored at work.
Uh-huh.
And we came up with a theory that the owners at our work had an illegitimate third child.
Uh-huh.
Who was half man, half fish.
Oh, okay.
That they kept in the attic and padlocked him in the attic and would feed him baby Ruths like a sloth from the Goonies.
Oh God.
And
so that's the whole haunted conspiracy.
Yeah, I think it's just a theory that like all the sounds that you hear is him just wanting a baby Ruth.
Oh my God.
And there's like a window into the attic, and I like. During the summertime when we have the patio open, he just stares out at all the people.
Oh God. That's your like, you gonna write a novel about it or something like
either that or there's like, we also came up with a theory that a lot of the money the bar gets isn't from alcohol sales or food sales. It's because the owner supported Trump. Oh. I'm pretty sure he has like a Jewish family underground doing all this like illegal work. I'm not anti-Semitic by any means. It's just a funny theory I came up with because the owner.
Because you get bored at work.
Yeah, I shouldn't say the owner because he was not the owner. He was just the boss. But
okay.
He supported Trump. It was just a funny thing I put together in my head. I thought it was funny, but then
I
again,
think it's ridiculous, but
it's ridiculous. But at the same time, I probably shouldn't be making jokes about it.
It's okay. Hey, anytime you drink alcohol, it's fine to say whatever you want to say. That's how it works on the internet. You get drunk, you say what you want. It's fine. You get a free pass. You get one though. You don't get two.
Oh, only one. But other than that, not really any ghost stories. Like,
yeah,
I've definitely
nothing weird as like a kid or anything. I had like a bunch of freaky shit happen to me as a kid.
I did not. I would actually like to hear any stories you're willing to tell. But there've been
well, most of the ones I mentioned on episode 1, but the weirdest thing ever happened to me as a kid was when I was laying in bed next to my mom. And anybody who listened to episode 1 heard this one, but I was laying in bed next to my mom, like as a kid, like very young. I don't even remember it, but she said that I sat up out of bed, turned to her, and said, "Your father loves you very much," and then laid back down and went to bed.
That's horrifying.
And her dad's been dead since she was 8 years old, so she was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, your mother's the sweetest woman I've ever met. I don't think she would ever want to have that happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Including herself. But there have been a few times where, like, I've heard something in my house, like when my parents weren't home, and, like, I was like, oh, it's just my dog, and then I'll go out.
So you're very, you justify stuff like that very easily. You don't say, "Oh, ghosts." Yeah.
But you won't ever catch me walking down a dark corridor. I will either have a flashlight out or I will die.
Oh yeah, you're talking to somebody who, when they take the trash out at night, they make a sprint for it. That's me.
Yeah, well, I grew up in the neighborhood I live in. We have woods all around my house.
Oh yeah, I see houses like in the woods, like on my way to work, like in the woods. And I'm just like, I would never live there. You can't, like, that house better be dirt cheap. I can't be, like, I'll never be able to look out of my window and just see woods. That would freak me out.
Too many scary movies.
Yeah.
But the neighborhood I live in, it's not surrounded by woods, per se, but I do have some woods across the street from me, and then my neighbors down the street have, like, a big wooded area that they own. But I hear foxes screaming out.
Oh, dude,
sometimes.
Foxes they're terrifying. It literally sounds like somebody screaming, like a woman screaming.
Yeah.
I had never heard a fox scream, or whatever you want to call it. I think there's also, I forget what other animal sounds like somebody screaming, but it terrified me. I think I was down on the beach one summer. I must have been like 16 or 15. First time I ever heard it, like out in the wild. And I was sitting on the porch and I heard screaming. It sounds like a woman screaming.
Yeah.
And, like, it's, like, midnight. It's, like, in the woods. I immediately grabbed my sister. I'm like, somebody is getting murdered out there. And she's like, that's a fox, you idiot. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, now I know. But there have been times where, like, it's always the worst time I hear a fox screaming. Like, I think when I was working overnights during work, or late nights during work, I would come home around 11. And when I would get out of my car, one time I got out of my car and I heard screaming, like, right next to me. And I was like, I'm running inside, and then I realized it was a fox, but it's terrifying at the moment. It's not fun.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend was obsessed with foxes,
Yeah.
and she played a fox screaming one time. I was like, oh, that's what that sound is. It's not somebody getting murdered.
Yeah.
But there was actually
Do you remember, were you there when we were in Booth Wynn and we heard a fox scream and we ran to the car?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure I was there.
Yeah.
But I was actually taking my dog to the bathroom. He has to walk up and down the street. He's a real prima donna about it. But he needs to walk up and down the street. So every night I take him out and we'll walk up the street together, do a little trot together. And I close the door to my house, walking down the steps, and I just hear foxes like 3 or 4 foxes just screaming in the woods.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, all right, come on, pup, we need to go.
Yeah.
So I
even if you know what it is, like, there's still that chance it's not a fox.
Yeah, so we're like, I'm like, got a little pep in my step, kind of like jogging, sprinting up the street. He's all for it. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. He just
thinks you're going for a run.
Yeah, I'm running, he's running. That's all that's going through his head.
Dogs love that. They're like, all right, we're running.
And then, so we get back to my yard, and he's going to the bathroom. I'm like staring at him. I'm like, you better hurry up.
Yeah, exactly.
You better hurry up right now. By the off chance that we die, I do not want this to be how I go out next to my dog who is pooping.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
Please, yeah.
So we get back in the house, and I locked all the doors, went to my room, got a baseball bat. I was like ready to go.
Yeah.
By the off chance that there's foxes had like boxing gloves or something and were ready to like take my wallet.
Oh God, that's Screw foxes. Why did Mother Nature make them sound so
Horrifying?
terrifying?
Yeah. They're really not even that big. They're like maybe a little bit. No, I wouldn't say a little bit bigger than a cat, but somewhere between a cat and a smaller dog.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually have a horrifying experience. Not really a ghost story, but I was at work one time. Tyler can back me up on this because he was there. But
you saw, didn't a fox eat a cat?
A fox ate a baby kitten.
Oh God.
There was a little stray kitten just at work, and there's a little bit of a wooded clearing, near where we park our cars. And a lady was like, it was in the summertime. A lady was like, "Oh my God, there's a kitten.
Yeah.
Somebody get a box so we can put the kitten in." And I'm like, all right. So I ran, got a box from inside, and I'm going to get this kitten. And as I'm going to get this kitten, I'm like climbing into the wooded clearing, and the same lady goes, "Oh my God, there's a fox coming!" And I was like, "Oh my God!" So I'm climbing into the clearing, and it like broke my heart because I've never ever seen anything like this happen.
Yeah.
But I grabbed the kitten, and the kitten was obviously scared out of its mind, and it scratched me and bit me. Thankfully, I didn't get rabies. But
you probably should have gotten checked.
I should have gotten checked, but I didn't.
Okay.
But the cat scratched me and bit me, and I was like, "Ah, you bitch!" So I'm like trying to grab it again, and as I'm going to grab it, the fox is just like lingering over top of it, grabs it real quick, like it was like that.
Really?
And I was like, I didn't even know what to say. I was like, "Oh my God, that actually just happened." I walked out of the wooded clearing with like my head down, and the lady's like, "Where's the kitten?" I was like, "The fox got to it." She broke down crying in tears, and Tyler looked at me and went, "Really? That's great."
Yeah, that's a terrible. That sucks, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's like, oh God, that's terrible. Screw foxes, man. Kill the kitten.
I think Tyler tried like raising my morale a bit. He said that maybe like the fox was taking the kitten to raise it on its own. I was
Probably not.
I was like, we'll say that.
Yeah, we'll say, hey, maybe that fox took the kitten to a better place.
Yeah, so
whether it be spiritually or literally.
Maybe that cat grew up to be a fox. Like
maybe it's fox. That sounds like a Disney movie. Like a fox adopts a kitten. That's what it is. Let's go with that. The fox adopted the kitten. I blame you though. You should have thrown it in the box. It's all your fault. You have that on your conscience now.
It's still to this day. I remember calling my ex-girlfriend whose favorite animal was a fox, and I told her about it, and she was so mad at me. She's like, "You just ruined my two favorite animals ever," and I was like,
"Too bad.
Sorry, man. It was on my chest. Get off my back."
But yeah, so if you take anything away from that, it's screw foxes.
Screw
Fuck
foxes.
'em. Screw them, whatever.
They're good animals.
But they suck because they scream and they kill kittens, and they're good animals, whatever. I'll just stop, whatever. I don't have a good track record with foxes, okay? Neither does Aiden.
No, I don't.
But I think that's pretty much all we have for this episode. It's been fun. We had a lot to talk about. That was a fun episode. I'm glad you could make it out. Hopefully,
glad I could be here.
Hopefully you make it out another time.
Anytime you're willing to have me, I'll definitely make time for it.
Yeah, this was fun. I'm glad you could make it. The topics were great this week. Had a lot of fun discussing them with you. And thanks in general. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sitting down. Thanks for talking. Thanks for having your drink. I know alcohol hits pretty hard.
Alcohol does hit me pretty hard. All 165 pounds of me.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it for episode 4 of, the Great Night Podcast. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Keep in mind, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we are also on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Great Night Podcast. And we're on Twitter and Instagram at Great Night POD. So check us out on there.
You can follow me on Twitter and hear more of my senseless ramblings. I have plenty of them.
At Aiden Obrecht, right?
Aiden Obrecht, yes.
All right, cool. Thanks again for listening, everybody. And as always, don't have a good night.
Have a great night.
Yep. Thank you. See you next episode.
Have a good night, everybody. Great night.